Alright then guys, so today I'm finally going to start on the Corsa B, sort of. I just got a call from my MOT tester. He said he's got a slot available, so I want to get it down there. But the first thing I've got to do is straighten that steering wheel up so I can actually drive it down there. But it's obviously going to fail on emissions and the EML lights on. I just want to see how bad it is, and then we'll go from there. But I need to get the steering wheel swapped over, so I better go and do that. The bonnet stay and this boot carpet, it's pretty grotty as you can see, but I'll probably clean it up. But anyway, I'm going to need this and I'm going to need that. And I think I said in a previous video that I was struggling to get the steering wheel off that's on it. It's just solid on there, so I need a puller. So I bought a puller tool, so I'll get it on and pull the steering wheel off hopefully. So yeah, I'll go and find the tool. So I was hoping to put this bonnet stay in. This is obviously not one for the bonnet. There's supposed to be a bracket there that clips into. It's obviously been removed when they had the C20 let in. It looks like it's had some sort of attempt at strengthening the chassis. It doesn't look very good, but it's obviously done the job, I suppose. So I'll have to think of another way to get this bonnet stay in there. Let's just have to use a prop for the time being. Alright, so here's the tool for the job. See if it works. I'll leave the centre nut on the edge just so it doesn't ping off in my face if it does come off. Something's happening. God, I think it's just pulling the aluminium out. Oh, there we go. Yes. All right. Okay, so one of the problems is going to be there's no wires for the horn. You can see there where the puller started breaking the aluminium. So I mean, if that pulled all the way through, you'd probably have to break the aluminium to get the steering wheel off. But anyway, so if you don't know how the tool works, it's got two little legs on it that you fit in there and then just spin them around, I guess. simple little tool. Could probably make one. But it was only 25 quid, wasn't even that, I don't think, on eBay. And that's probably the only time I'll use it. But it might come in handy for other jobs. Right, so oh yeah, springs on there. I do have a squib for it. I don't know if this is supposed to be an airbag model or not. All of my knowledge of Corsa Bs is long gone. I'll have to ask my mate Dale, who's Corsa B daft, if this is meant to be an airbag model or not. But there's no airbag light on the dash, so I mean we know this isn't going to pass. I just want to put it down and see what it's going to need. So we'll worry about the horn after. I'll just get the steering wheel on. Right, so I can't put the steering wheel on unless I take off the shroud because it's too deep. It just won't go on. I won't push you in far enough. It's hard up against it already. So I mean, I could just put this one back on for just to get me to the MOT at least. Right, so I took the Corsa B down to get MOT'd. I'm obviously not expecting to pass or anything. So what we've got is we've got a fail, obviously. We've got 13 items that it failed on. Nothing too drastic. Brakes, obviously. The boot lid corroded. I've got a boot lid for that. And the horn, which we knew about. And then most of it is brakes, wheel bearing on the back, and a ball joint. And the steering it's a bit strange feeling. It's always tugging the opposite direction, and it's this ball joint. Someone's just sort of half put it in. And then it needs a little bit of welding on the inner riggers at the front. Someone's tried to bodge it up with putty and silicone, but you can just pull it out, and then there's a hole. Not a big hole, it's a little hole, but as we know with the rust, it starts off as a little hole, but by the time you cut it all out, half a car's gone. So yeah, so I'm just and one of the other faults is the EML lights on, which I suspected would have been just because there's no cat on it, but I've just plugged it in there and it's honestly an EGR fault. So here's what we've got so far. So there was a cat in the car, a brand new cat, but it's got a flange on it and the system that's on it sort of made up. So I could just cut this and sleeve it into the system that's there, and hopefully it would pass emissions. Emissions wasn't even attempted on it because there's no cat. And then the other thing is, oh yeah, I think I showed the boot before. The other thing is, I was just rummaging around looking, there's wires all loose everywhere. There's a nice light switch under there, but I was looking in here and then I seen this. So it's not a big deal, but then I seen this bit here and I thought, oh no. So I've been looking in at the engine bay for the EGR valve, which is usually bolted on the back of the inlet manifold. And the EGR valves have always been a bit of a pain on these things. It's sort of the early days of EGR valves, I guess. And back in the day, we just used to take them off and put a blanket plate on, which this has got, a blanket plate, but I cannot find the plug for it. The only thing I can find is bits of wire like this lying all over the place. But that's only 4 wires. And the bit that's cut on here is 5 wires. Although they do look the same colour, so it's nothing drastic really, it's just time to do it. But it sounds great, goes well. I don't know if it'll sound as good when I put the cat on or whatever exhaust system I put on, so what I'll do is I'll just take a video of it starting up just now so you can hear it. let's do that. Sounds good. It's raspy. When you take it out, it pops and bangs and all of those ASBO things that no one likes. But yeah, it's no car. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? Right, so I was thinking about this Corsa last night after the MOT yesterday, and so I struggle to do bodge jobs or half-ass jobs. I'd rather just strip everything down and do it well, as good as new or better. But the reason I bought this car is just to run about in it in summer, because I can't be bothered doing my GSI, and this will be a bit of fun. So the whole point in this thing is just to do the bare minimum and get it MOT'd, have a bit of fun with it this summer, and then maybe, because it's such a small car, I can do a bare shell strip rebuild type thing in the future. So last night I was thinking about this bloody EGR wiring and stuff, and how dodgy wiring just, it upsets me. I just like a proper full loom. I don't know why people cut stuff. Anyway, I'm going to go against everything that I stand for, and I'm just going to bodge this Corsa to get it through an MOT. Yeah, I mean, even saying it makes me upset, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to challenge myself to bodge this thing to get it through an MOT. So, because usually I would push these pins out of here and then probably just put new wires, crimps on there and push it back into plug and stuff like that, or solder them. But I'm going to be brutal. I'm just going to bear the wires back and twist them. Put insulation tape on it, making me sick just talking about it. And then, yeah, I'm just going to do the bare minimum just to get this MOT'd, and then faff about it in the summer, and then sort it properly at some point if I still want to keep it. So I'm putting it out there. This is not how I do stuff usually, and I feel weird talking about it, doing it, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I've never bodged anything in my life, but I'm going to do it. The other thing is, this car's for me. I'm not selling it to anyone. I'm not giving it to anyone. I would never do that with a car. I would never bodge a car that I was moving on. So it's just for me. So before I start getting loads of messages and comments, oh, it's not how you do stuff. If you watch my channel, or if you know how I've worked over the years, you know that this is definitely not something I do. But I'm just going to challenge myself to bodge it. So we'll call it the Bodge Challenge or something like that, because I just want to get it MOT in the next 10 days, get it on the road, have a bit of fun with it, and then yeah, I'll do what I've got to do to make it right in the future. Because if I don't, if I faff about with this like I do with everything else, it'll never be on the road, and then I'll just park up next to the GSI, and I'll still not have a car to play about with in the summer. So let's do it, see how it goes. Alright, so there's bodge number one. Just used them heat shrink with a little bit of solder in the middle that you just heat up, and looks horrendous. It looks bloody awful, but yeah, that's bodge number one. Hope I sleep tonight. Right, so the EGR's hooked back up. Started up and cleared the codes. No codes. And the engine light's out. So it's one job done. Right, so the next job is the horn. So, oh god, I'm taking the wheel off again to try and find the wires for the horn, which I think this is the horn. So I'm going to have to go and get the power probe onto it. Right, now I'm pretty sure these are the horn wires that's been cut again. And in fact, if I just earth this here and use that, hopefully that's a horn. Oh, there we go. Alright, so earth that, and this is the positive. There. It's a horn. Right, sweet. So I just need to wire that up somehow. Right, it's too much faffing about. I've stripped the wires, so I'm just going to get a push button switch, connect these two up, and that'll give me a horn. I'll just hang it down here because I don't want to cut into the dash for when I restore this thing properly. And that'll get that working. So next on the Bodge list, I was going to change the tailgate over. I was giving it a little polish to see how it came up. But it's got, it's not great, it's got paint runs and rust all over it. And I thought, obviously I'm doing Project Bodge and how easy it is to pass an MOT, how low the MOT standards are. Or I think so anyway. So I'm just going to bodge this one. And here's how I've done it. Put the number plate on. And use some red electrical tape to cover up the bits that can be seen. So, done. On to the next bodge. Alright, so bodged. Bodged. I've just ordered a push button for that, which will be here next week. Sorted that. I need to strip the brakes because I'm sure it's got cavalier brakes on here. Look at that shortly. Can't do emissions till the cat's on. That's just a couple of new exhaust hangers, hopefully. That's ordered. Ball joints ordered for next week. Wheel bearings ordered for next week. I've freed off the brake cables, but I've ordered some new ones anyway for all the price of them, 20 quid. The brakes in balance, I'm hoping it's just an adjustment, but it might be a new cylinder, and that's to do with that, and that's the emissions. Alright, so not too bad. These are just standard brakes. They're just 256mm, so I'm just going to order discs. They're not actually that bad, they would clean up. And the pads are fine, even though the red stuff is absolutely useless on a road car, a track car. It's definitely been a track car, this. Because the red stuff pads are only for track cars. But I'm not even going to change the pads, I'm just going to leave them. Just going to do the bare minimum to this thing. Set of discs to keep the MOT tester happy. And then, yeah, I'll probably hang on to these, clean them up, put them back on. So yeah, I've ordered discs, I've ordered the ball joint. I'm going to strip the rear wheels, brake drums down and see what's going on in there. And then one of the other fails was the exhaust at the rear is loose. It does move around quite a bit, but these hangers are well past their best. I'll stick a couple on there just to hold up. It does rattle actually on the exhaust, on the axle, but I remember the exhaust rattling on the axle on these all the time when you used to lower them. But this is how you do the bare minimum to get through an MOT. So I'm just going to put new hangers on it and that'll cheer them up. So I think, yeah, I'll strip the rear brakes. That's what I'll do next. Now it looks like someone else is beating me to bodges on here. Someone's just put a nail through the hubs instead of a split pin. Brilliant. Thought just giving these discs a clean up. Drill through the holes again. And they're fine, they're actually alright. I could have just put them back on. This bit's got nothing to do with the brake, where the pad sits. I could have put them back on, but I've already readied the discs now. It's pretty. So I'll just keep holding them. They're plenty thick yet. There's nothing wrong with it. Every MOT test is different now. I think I've got this cylinder that doesn't seem to be working, so I'll have to replace that. So this side here is seized. I've taken the boot dust cover off. I'm going to try and free it off. But if not, I'll have to splash out on £9 for a new one. Right, I think I've got it freed off. It's pushing itself out now. I'm going to let it come out too far though. Happy days. Now put it back together and just make sure it's both working. Alright, so you can see the difference. These are the ones that were on the back box. And these are much shorter, so hopefully it'll hold it a bit tighter. But let's find out. Alright, so the battery died when I was putting that on, but yeah, it's nice and solid now. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, that's another job done, ticked off the list. So I've sorted the freed off that brake cylinder, so I've got the rear brakes adjusted and working perfect now. So that's another job I've ticked off the list. There's not much more I can do just now until, because it's a bank holiday weekend, so I won't get the ball joint, the brake discs, and the handbrake cable, or any bit other bits until next week. So we'll just call this part one of the project Bodge, and then we'll pick it up once the parts arrive. Cool. Hope you enjoy this Bodge series.